Hello world, and greetings from a nice, warm summer February day here in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And welcome to Team Harmony's Hate. What are you going to do?
Wait a minute, that's so unfair. It was 80 degrees, or 27 for you Celsius people, when Melody shot that thing. I had to scrape ice off the car just to get here today. Oh, by the way, I'm Ellie, and welcome.
And I'm Kahari, and it's good to be back after taking a month off. And even though it's cold outside, we're glad to have you with us. This is our third webcast where we engage, inspire, and educate youth all over the world in the battle against hate.
And I'm Julia. I'm the new kid on the block, filling in for Angel. And I'm psyched to be here with Ellie and Kahari. Now, if you missed our last webcast on the arts, you missed quite a ride. We looked at how people around the world use the arts in the battle against hate.
We had stories about popular singers in Cuba, Kenya, and Egypt. We saw how art is used to help refugee children integrate into Egyptian society, and we even had a story about a comedian in Portugal and how he addresses the race issue there. If you missed it, you can still check it out on our website at teamharmonyfoundation.org.
For our program today, we have stories from the Netherlands, China, Pakistan, Poland, Morocco, and here in the US. And we've got a few other goodies for you as well. Pup Dog will talk to Saweetie, and we're even going to interview one of our youth reporters about their story.
This month, most of our stories will look at LGBTQ rights around the world. For a lot of countries, this is not a popular issue. And in some places, it's illegal for people to live their truth. Punishments can be severe. But it's not that way in the Netherlands, and that's where we start today. Nia, our global youth reporter in Amsterdam, introduces us to an organization called Trans Amsterdam.
Hello world, it's Nia Manopa from the Netherlands here, and today I will be interviewing Solange Dekker, who is the host, vlogger, and influencer of Trans Amsterdam. Trans Amsterdam is an organization that aims to better the representation of transgenders in the Netherlands. They provide an art and culture stage for trans and non-transgender people. Solange was crowned as Miss Evolution back in 2019, was a finalist for Miss Beauty of Noord-Holland in 2020, has over 10,000 followers on Instagram, and is also known for a TED Talk.
When I had my second suicide attempt at 16, I climbed out of that water and I thought, what am I doing? Why? Why am I letting people control my life? That I want to jump off a bridge. And it was in that moment when I thought, I am gonna live. I am going to get out of this water and I am going to shine so hard and be so happy with myself.
It's so nice to finally meet you. Tell us more about the organization.
We are trying to give transgender and non-binary people a platform so that they are being seen more than just transgender people, that they are being seen for the work that they do. Also, we are trying to create a bridge so that it's easier for non-transgender or non-binary people to communicate and to work with transgender people.
If you are an employer, do not be afraid to have a conversation with a transgender person. So give us a chance.
How did Trans Amsterdam help you?
They helped me to realize that even though you are already working a full-time job, even though you maybe have a very busy life, you could still always find time to do some kind of thing for other people. So everything that we do is volunteer work. No one gets paid. Everything is on a voluntary basis, and I think that's beautiful that it gives you the drive and it gives you the spirit to show up, to do all these events, to do everything, not only for yourself, but for all these other people.
What are the future goals for Trans Amsterdam?
Future goals would obviously be to get more and bigger platforms. What will be more goal is that we are being seen and heard on a bigger scale than that we are doing now. So it will be great if we get more media attention.
What advice would you give to someone that is dealing maybe with combating hate regarding their identity?
My advice would be talk with people about your feelings. Open up to people, open up to whoever, to people you trust, open up to maybe even strangers if you feel like that, and don't be afraid to just show emotion, because in the end, if people are trying to help you, they want to see real you. They want to see who you are and what pain you have. That's the only way in how they can help you.
Yeah, I think you're such a beautiful person inside and out and so brave. This is Nia reporting from Amsterdam for Team Harmony.
Thank you, Nia. Nice job. Now, we'd like to introduce a new friend of ours. Meet Jorge Olivares. Jorge is on Sirius XM radio here in the States. He's a host, he's a producer, he's a social commentator on LGBTQ issues. And he's here with us now. Jorge, have I left anything out?
No, that sounded pretty much great. Thank you for having me.
Great. So, first question, what are your preferred pronouns?
Thank you for asking. So they are he, him, his. I'm somebody who identifies as a gay man, a cisgender man. So essentially anybody who's cisgender is somebody who's not transgender.
So in your writing, you talk about intersectional identity. Can you explain that term? Because that's a big term.
It is. So intersectionality is something that has become a little more prominent over the past few years. And all it wants to say is that your different identities kind of all mix into one. So they intersect. So my identity as a Mexican-American millennial intersects with my identity as a queer person because I understand from those various intersectional identities what it means to feel oppressed, what it means to feel discriminated against, what it means to feel different. And sometimes one of those identities helps inform how I live the other identity. So it all mixes and mingles together to form this wonderful thing that is my own person. And I love that every single person pretty much has this intersectional identity. It's just how they choose to live it out and choose to highlight it.
For an average person, how would you say that we can play a part in understanding that there is intersectional oppression and being sensitive towards people, and especially when you're meeting somebody for the first time?
It is pretty much all about communication. Every relationship you will ever have with somebody is based on communication, whether that's friendship, whether that's acquaintance, whether it's romantic. And it's all a matter of just asking whoever you're talking to, how would you like to be identified? What are your preferred pronouns? And I think by doing that shows an intent on your part that you're curious, that you care, that you want to know more about the person that you're talking to. Because especially when you're a queer person and you might not look how people would perceive you to look, whether they might think you're a man, whether they might think you're a woman, and you might not identify as either of those, it's helpful to just ask questions because doing that already shows that you have an investment there and that you really want to know more about a person and not make assumptions, because in these particular situations, assumptions are very not helpful.
This is new thinking for a lot of people, so how do they proceed?
So I do want to say that I've been working in the queer space for almost a decade now, and even I have trouble figuring out a lot of stuff. And that's considering I'm very much within the roots of the community and activism within the community. And so I think it's just a matter of understanding for yourself, you're not going to always get it right. You're going to make mistakes, that you're going to possibly say something that can be considered offensive. But it's a matter of apologizing if you do say something offensive and making sure that your heart is in the right place. And, I've tried to talk to my parents, people who are very close to me about these topics, and they have trouble understanding. And it's just a matter of giving people the grace to learn. There's a learning curve here. We are all in this place together of trying to figure out how we can be better to one another.
So this is going out to the world. So what is your message to the world?
The message is to listen to one another, to understand where another person is coming from. My lived experience as a queer person from Texas who's Mexican American is going to be quite different from a queer person anywhere else in the world. And that's beautiful, that's wonderful, and that's exciting. And it is up to me to learn about their story. It's up to them to learn about my story. It is just the fact that we each have really wonderful, juicy stories that are waiting to be told. And we just need a welcome audience to be able to tell them to.
Do you have anything to add?
Just this idea that if we can start to get a little more comfortable at asking people about what their pronouns are, asking people just to be kind. Again, we all look very different. We all come from different places in the world. And it's incredibly fine to be able to put our stories out there and just hope that they're received the same way we wish our stories are to be received.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Jorge.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Let's keep this rolling by traveling east to China, where we hear from Reina talking about a program where college students help teach refugee children in rural China.
Hello, I'm Reina Song, reporting from Beijing, China.
Teaching Corps of Northwest Yunnan was founded in 2007. For the past 13 years, this organization has helped connect volunteer teachers with schools in remote areas such as Yunnan, which is located in southern China. Northwestern University's sophomore Tiger Wang from Beijing, China, recently spent a week at the elementary school in Yunnan, working as a volunteer teacher for Teaching Corps of Northwest Yunnan. Wang said this is his first time volunteering, and he heard about this opportunity from a friend.
I really want to see some poor places in China, since I grew up in a city like Beijing. Kids in the mountains, in those poor areas, and they're really pure and innocent. And yeah, it reminds me of my childhood.
When he was there, Wang taught physical education and arts at this elementary school, where students range from grade 1 to grade 5.
They have about 150 students, and there will probably be 30 students in each grade.
Wang said he did not have a bed to sleep on, and instead slept in a sleeping bag. Despite the less than ideal conditions, Wang said he wanted to go back.
I want to go back every time I come back to China. Yeah, and I plan to do a long-term volunteering at the end of college. Yeah. I love them so much, yeah.
Volunteers like Tiger Wang bring hope to our community. This is Reina Song from Team Harmony, reporting from Beijing, China.
Excellent job, Reina. Thank you very much.
One of our regular features in our show is called One Question, which is where we send our reporters out to ask people around the globe the same question. So, let's toss this over to Liz in Canada.
So, my question for you could be, what person, program, or song celebrates inclusivity?
The movie Soul, I guess.
The French actor Omar Sy for celebrating inclusion.
A TV program, The Ellen Show.
Il y a Glow Up aussi en fait qui est sympa avec le maquillage, etc.
Netflix series, Dear White People.
It's a web series on Netflix. It's called When They See Us.
Tarantino's Django Unchained.
I would say 17. 17? Okay. Yes, because they have a message in their song.
This is me from The Greatest Showman.
The Netflix original Wonder.
Ebony and Ivory from Sir Paul McCartney.
Queer Eye.
Pardon?
Queer Eye.
Queer Eye. Ah ouais.
Netflix.
This is the Waving Flag. It is the 2010 World Cup song, and it's basically all the countries unite together.
Probably I'd say the song Imagine by John Lennon.
Visual, et en gros c'est une petite grenouille qui danse avec plein de...
I can proudly say that PSL, which is a famous cricketing league of Pakistan, acted as a uniting force for our nation.
Childish Gambino song, This is America.
Reporting from Liège, Belgium, I'm Lina Albiar for Team Harmony.
We are from the north, we came from the south, we are the nation.
One country where LGBTQ issues cause people to live in the shadows is Pakistan, and this is where we find our reporter Saman.
Hi everyone, I am Saman Javed, reporting from Lahore, Pakistan, and this is Team Harmony.
We live in a country where everyone talks about men and women. But what about the third ones? The ones that are not accepted by the society, the ones that are always forgotten. Khusra, Khwaja Sara are the common names of the unidentified.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sana and I am from Kota Pind, Lahore. It's in Pakistan. Neither are we respected by the society, nor we are offered any jobs. We are not even respected by the people, and they don't even invite us to the functions anymore. We are asked to pay huge house rents just because we are transgenders. We are even tortured and humiliated by policemen. We are not even helped by the people. There is no third gender box on any school registration form also.
Transgenders are those victimized individuals in Pakistan that nobody is ready to accept. The government can still not take a decision on their identity. Both the government and the citizens seem like culprits in this situation.
We have many success stories to tell. There are transgenders who do not beg and have left sex work for a better life and are now earning through respectable jobs. Their success stories motivate many other transgenders, especially the youth, to work and build a better and respectable lifestyle. They send us their resumes and then we try to arrange jobs for them in collaboration with many other organizations. Social acceptance is very important for us because at the end of the day, it's other genders and other people of the society that we interact with. So our basic focus is to work for social acceptance. Government should also direct to sensitize their departments, as this is the only way that the laws can be implemented. People need to sensitize in the department so that they accept us as a gender also, and they understand that we are also the citizens of Pakistan who shall be allowed to enjoy all the basic human rights.
All they demand is acceptance from society and from their own families. Don't you think it's kind of our fault too? Because all we want is a daughter or a son. Being a part of this society, I request you all to respect them and consider them a part of our country. We should all fight for the rights of our transgender community.
I hope through this documentary you have got to know about the problems of transgender community, and I request our government to please provide them their rights. This is Saman Javed signing off.
When we started this program several months ago, we spent a lot of time with our youth reporters, giving them tips and tricks on producing their stories. And every once in a while, we thought it would be interesting to talk to them to see how their story came together and what they learned throughout the process. Okay, so Saman, you're the first person we've done this with, so thank you for giving us your time and thanks for a great story. Our first question we'll start with is, were you ever afraid for your safety or your interviewee's safety?
So first of all, thank you so much for having me. And moving towards your question, no, we were really not worried about our safety because our team ensured about everything and they ensured about our safety. Yes, we were quite a bit worried about the safety of our interviewee because they come from a background that is not accepted by the society. But later on, ensuring every security threats, then we were very comfortable.
So how did you approach your interviewees and how did you speak to them?
We had a scheduled meeting with the gurus. They are the heads of transgender community, and we persuaded them to give us interviews. And about the second interview, our team leader Pakistan, Sir Suhail Riaz Raja, he helped us to talk to different NGOs. So I selected an NGO from Lahore, Pakistan, that is known as FAZER Society. And then I contacted their head and they were very welcoming and they talked about the issue very, very open-heartedly.
How did you find your interviewees?
The first interview was very challenging to talk to because she was very worried about her security, but later on we made her very comfortable. And the second one was very interesting to talk about this issue and she enlightened us with many information about this issue.
Have you talked to either one of your interviewees since the story or have they seen it? And if so, what do they think about it?
I have shown a rough draft of my video to the FAZER Society and they were very pleased to see the video.
So being a global youth reporter, how did you create your story?
So at first it was very challenging, but it was very interesting. But I shot different parts of my stories and then I collected them and I chose some specific parts of my story that were very important. So I came up with this video.
Did anything surprise you throughout the process?
I was not sure that people would welcome me to talk about this issue because people are very afraid to talk about this issue in Pakistan. But it surprised me that they were very helpful and they came out with many good information.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I just want to add that I am very happy to be a part of Team Harmony And I'm very honored and proud that I can highlight such hate crimes in society and be a part of this initiative.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For our next story, we turn to Joanna in Poland, where we see that some areas have become LGBTQ-free zones.
Poland is getting international attention right now for all the wrong reasons. This year, at least 100 communities have declared themselves LGBT-free zones.
The LGBTQ community in Poland has a message for the world: we don't feel safe here.
Hi, I'm Joanna Brzezińska. I am a Team Harmony reporter from Poland, and today I'm here with an amazing young activist and leader, Dominik Kuc. Please tell me something about yourself and the field you work in.
I work in favor of human rights in Poland, especially in Warsaw, and especially towards young people. Since 2018, I have created the ranking of LGBTQ schools and equality diplomas that were assigned by the city of Warsaw.
What inspired you to take action in the first place?
I had occasion to cooperate with so many NGOs, with so many young activists. It is also inspiring to see that many young people are more and more tolerant, more and more open.
What biggest difficulties do LGBTQ plus people in Poland have to deal with?
Our system of education, teachers and head teachers of the schools that are often either homophobic, either scared of our government. Recently, many local governments have introduced so-called LGBTQ-free zones. The school don't want human rights campaign to happen or any non-governmental organization to talk about human rights or discrimination.
Recently, you created a report with stories of LGBTQ plus youth during quarantine and lockdown. Could you tell me more about it?
We made interviews with young LGBTQ people anonymously. The citations that we published were either really supportive. However, there was also scaring stories. Electoral campaign held by Mr. Duda had really negative influence on LGBT people.
The European Union has tried to put pressure on the Polish government to step in, but Polish President Andrzej Duda doesn't appear to be listening.
This was the first ever Pride March in that city. The people there attacked by counter-demonstrators, the police detaining a number of far-right activists.
How, in your opinion, can young people get involved, take part in some initiatives to spread awareness and fight against hate?
Rainbow Friday, organized by Campaign Against Homophobia. The other is, for example, local LGBTQ organizations.
What are your hopes for the future?
That we become more tolerant, more European. My best hope is to develop LGBTQ-friendly school ranking. We had many replies thanking us because of the project.
This is Joanna Brzezińska reporting from Poland for Team Harmony.
Thank you, Joanna. Nice job. Now, we turn to the celebrity world. Last time, we heard from T.I., Taz Taylor, and Big Sean. And how do we get these people? Through him, our man Pup Dog.
Just joshing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10.
Right now, trying to spread love, man. And, I work with Team Harmony, an international youth group. Jack, what's up, my guy?
What's going on? What's up, man? And what's up, Team Harmony?
Yo, real quick, man, I know you got a busy schedule going on, and with the album that just dropped, that's what they all say. I have to take your take on how can we spread love, man? There's a lot of hate going on in the world. How do we bring everybody together, bro? Talk to them.
Well, I think if everybody just focuses on love as a concept and looks deep within them and reminds themselves every day to use their empathy, I think we could change the world. You know what I mean? Spread that love, even if it's on a small scale. Do them kind deeds because they multiply and you're really paying it forward. So I just encourage everyone to go with love before hate, because it's too much hate.
There you go, man. Jack Harlow, thank you so much, man. I appreciate
It's Sweetie. What's up, Team Harmony? I feel like one way we can stop the hate and spread love is, by understanding each other, getting to know one another, and trying to see where everyone comes from. Because I feel like misunderstanding someone is where, the misunderstanding comes from. So learn about each other so we can love one another. Okay? I know that's right.
that's nice and easy. Period. There you go.
Thanks, Pup. Let's get back to our stories now, as we go to Asma in Morocco, where people are being outed on social media.
As of 2020, gay marriage is legal in over 30 countries. Morocco, however, is definitely not one of them.
Here, same-sex sexual relations can be punished with anything from 6 months to 3 years imprisonment, in addition to a fine. Not to mention society's ostracization and shunning that LGBTQ people will also have to face. That in mind, the community usually turns to dating apps in order to meet people without putting their safety in the line. However, their safety net was also targeted amid the coronavirus lockdown, when an Instagram influencer called out to her then almost 500,000 followers to download dating apps more likely used by gay men, to then expose them publicly on social media platforms. This has of course been nothing short of a nightmare for Moroccan gay men, a lot of which has been kicked out of their homes and living in fear of prosecution.
What happened is that a lot of people's privacy was invaded and exposed, which is clearly not only a violation of their privacy, but also a dangerous precedent in a country where the law forbids forbids homosexual behavior. So it's hard to convince someone to not be homophobic when the law is, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we need to go to the core issue, which is that the law is bad and should be changed because it's discriminatory, violates one of the fundamental tenets of human rights, which is the right to privacy and the right to dispose of your own body.
One of the victims of this event has agreed to have an interview. However, as per their wish and for safety purposes, their voice has been altered. I understand you have been one of the victims whose sexual orientation was exposed on the internet. How has this personally affected you?
Well, it has been a very difficult time for me because I never tell anyone about my sexual orientation. But now it's information on the internet, and a lot of my friends and people I know find out, and they have said terrible things to me, and I'm also scared that my parents will find out, because I know that they will not accept that about me.
This has been Asma reporting from Morocco for Team Harmony.
Thank you, Asma. Nice work.
Our last story comes from here in the US, from the state of Colorado, where Maya introduces us to an artist who documents the plight of indigenous people through street art.
It's Saturday morning, and I find myself in the Arts District of Denver, Colorado, where, thanks to street artists like Etta Capacha, the walls bloom with color.
When I started doing street art here in Denver, where the art scene wasn't really happening yet, we used to go around and put up posters and stickers and some like one-way signs into one-day signs, and we were just really interested in how it is that we speak to the greater population, because like art sometimes can be just held inside of galleries and held within a certain social context, And the group that I was with was really interested in talking to the greater community context and what's happening. And so that was really the beginning of my relationship with it.
Patra saw an opportunity to use her platform as an artist in the fight against hate.
There's like the deeper art, the service of spirit, the service of humanity. And that's what I was really longing for. So I realized in that, I was like, what could I do? What could I do? And I realized I was like, oh, I'm already doing it. I just need to like take what I'm doing and work with groups that are like bringing these deeper messages out into the world.
Patra partnered with Women from the Mountain, a group that confronts the discrimination faced by Indigenous communities.
Women who are really fighting for just education around what's happening and really gaining insight onto what's happening with missing and murdered Indigenous women. So a lot of social justice is support, education, awareness, like opening people's minds up to the fact that like there's other things going on. But when you really get involved with where they come from and what they still struggle with, the addiction, the killing, the misplacement, like the lack of land, like there's so much happening that as a white woman, I could be easily disconnected from. So I just want to like keep bringing this messaging out and learning more myself and seeing how it is that I can use my life to create more awareness. When we're inspired, we want to go out there and do something.
Patra wants to include youth in the fight against hate.
My biggest wish and dream and prayer for this planet right now is for the youth. It's for your generations. You guys are the ones who are going to be rebuilding this. We're the bridge builders, and you guys are the ones who are like walking through and going to be rebuilding what this world is becoming. And you're so important and so necessary for where it is that we're going.
This is Maya, reporting from Colorado, USA, for Team Harmony.
Maya in Colorado, excellent job. So that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed it. A special thanks to our Global Youth reporters Nia, Reina, Saman, Joanna, Asma, and Maya. You guys rock.
And also a big thanks to Jorge Olivares.
For our viewers in the US, stay tuned because in just a few seconds, you'll be able to chat live with some of the participants in today's show. So, until next time, peace.